Ever wondered why Rolex watches are expensive? I always asked myself this question before I got into the world of watches, so I did a little bit of research and now I know why. Some of you might disagree with me, but you have to understand that with Rolex, you're not only buying the watch, you're also buying the brand name. It's kind of a status thing if you ask me. However, is Rolex really that expensive? Rolex price information isn't nearly as universally known as the Rolex brand itself. With that in mind, there are usually two words that spring to mind when people hear the word Rolex. The first is watches, obviously, and the other is generally expensive. But is that fair? Luxury watches are generally rather pricey items, and no Rolex watch can ever be considered inexpensive. When purchased brand new at a retail level, prices for Rolex's least expensive models start out at around the $5,000 mark. But Rolex is by no means the most expensive luxury watch brand in the world. In fact, there are many manufacturers who charge far more for their watches than Rolex, and given the long waiting lists present for many of the brand's top models, there are many people who believe that Rolex watches are actually underpriced. I believe that if you find Rolex watches to be too expensive, you're probably not their target audience. Here are 7 reasons why Rolex watches are expensive. Number 1. Quality craftsmanship and precision engineering. Behind their extravagant pricing lies the promise of quality craftsmanship and precision engineering. These two factors make Rolex watches more than just timepieces. They're investment-worthy works of art. Each timepiece is meticulously assembled by skilled craftsmen who undergo extensive training. Rolex timepieces are built to withstand the test of time and remain reliable for generations. Each component is made with the utmost attention to detail and tested to ensure it meets the highest precision standards. That's why Rolex watches continue to be one of the most sought-after luxury items in the world. Number 2. The use of gold. Rolex is touted as being the only watchmaker to produce their own gold. This explains why some gold models feature on lists of the most expensive watches. Rolex usually refines 24K gold into 18K yellow, white, or Everose gold for their products. Number 3. Longevity of the timepiece makes Rolex expensive. Rolex watches are built to last for generations. The brand's commitment to durability and reliability means that each watch undergoes rigorous testing to withstand extreme conditions. What sets these watches apart is their impeccable craftsmanship and attention to detail. Using high-grade materials such as stainless steel and precious metals ensures that each watch lasts a lifetime and retains its value. From temperature variations to water resistance, Rolex timepieces are designed to be robust and long-lasting, making them a worthwhile investment for those seeking a watch that can be passed down through generations. Number 4. The use of 904-liter stainless steel. To set Rolex watches apart from the crowd, they've given their luxury timepieces a timeless, unmatched design. Part of this involves using top-notch stainless steel, specifically the 904-liter variety. This type of steel isn't just stronger and shinier than the regular 316-liter steel most other watchmakers go for. It's also a bit of a tough nut to crack. Rolex jumped on the 904-liter stainless steel bandwagon in a big way back in 2003. Even though it's a bit of a pricey and challenging material to work with. Since Rolex makes most of their watches in-house, they had to swap out a bunch of their tools and machines to handle this high-end steel. Crafting 904-liter steel takes some serious know-how and extra effort, which is why many other watchmakers still stick to the trusty 316-liter steel. Long story short, Rolex might just be the only watch company out there rocking the 904-liter steel game. Number 5. Multiple research facilities they have. Rolex has a very extraordinary internal research and development department. They have various professional labs and facilities where researchers and scientists work on new Rolex watches and manufacturing techniques. Rolex has to ensure that they have the best team in these labs and facilities. Hence, they prefer to use highly trained scientists in their chemistry lab for research on oils and lubricants used in their machines. Other special facilities of Rolex include a stress test room for testing watch movements, cases, and bracelets. The company also has a room with several electron microscopes and gas spectrometers, where research on metals and other materials takes place. Number 6. The importance of mechanization. Rolex, being one of the top-notch watch brands with a huge fan base, has gone all in on fancy machines. A bunch of them are cool robots. Over at their master supply room, these bots lend a hand with the everyday stuff, like packing stuff up, fetching trays full of parts, and even kicking off the polishing process for Rolex watches before the human crew steps in. Number 7. Hand-assembled movements. Even though Rolex relies quite a bit on robots in their production process, the jobs these machines handle are pretty straightforward. They're mainly responsible for tasks like sorting, organizing, and keeping records. Interestingly, when it comes to putting together watch movements and bracelets, human hands usually take the lead. Before Rolex watches get sent off for COSC certification as chronometers, there's often a human touch involved to double-check and test them to make sure they meet high-quality standards. If you enjoyed this video, you're probably going to enjoy this one about the best places to buy a used Rolex online. Don't forget to subscribe.